All right. What's up, everybody? This is Anthony Fallon, Tone Setter Sports Channel. What's going on? Yeah, you see the title, um, Week 10 talk about the NFL. Uh, man, there was some exciting games on. First and foremost, I'm going to say I'm pissed off about um, my FanDuel fantasy team. Well, one thing I did mess up on one of my lineups. I thought I took Mike Davis out of the lineup, added someone else. I thought I added Kareem Hunt. I don't know why I thought I did. I and he didn't do well. I should have took out Roddy Anderson and replaced him with somebody else. And Drew Brees, I thought he was going to bring. I thought he was going to really put the icing on the cake. And he goes out of the game after they tied at 17-17 against the 49ers. And he goes out due to some rib injury. I was like, why does this happen to me all the time? You know, and really my thing with FanDuel and what I do, I do it like as if it was a regular fantasy where you can pick, FanDuel, you can pick different players from week to week. You know what I'm saying? Regular fantasy, you pick a team, you pick a squad, you have your backups, you know what I'm saying? And you alternate your backups whenever somebody's on the bye week. So and what I do with FanDuel is that I try to keep the same players, especially once I win some money. I won last week, so I came back with most of the players that I had last week, um, with the exception of a couple of them that was on the bye. You know what I'm saying? So, like I had to change quarterbacks. I had Pat Mahomes last week, and so he was on the bye. So I went and got, or they play Monday, one of the two. I don't know. I think they're on the bye. I don't keep it with the Chiefs' schedule like that. So I went with Breeze, you know, and I'm like, yeah, they're playing against the 49ers. 49ers got a backup, but, the Saints at full strength. But that was not in the report that he had a rib injury or he suffered a rib injury during the game or something. I don't know. But anyway, they won, and everybody gets off. Like Kamara gets off, except the only one that didn't get off was Breeze. I'm pretty sure if he had stayed in the game, it would have been different. You know what I'm saying? But that kind of hurt me in my FanDuel because everyone else that I had was pretty decent. I know I said Roddy Anderson. He only been double digits every week, except against this Tampa team. But Teddy Bridgewater went out early in the fourth, something like that, or middle of the fourth. You know, but still he didn't have a good game. Actually, DJ Moore had the better game, um, and Mike Davis didn't have a good game. I thought that what Tampa did that I mean Carolina played Tampa pretty decent, and that game was a lot closer than what it looked. It wasn't until it was 17-20. The Panthers had the Tampa Bay Bucks down on the 2 yard line after a punt, and Ronald Jones ran up the gut and took it 98 yards. That blew the game open. The strong safety, whiffed on the tackle. Um, he reacted late to the run, and and pretty much that was it. Then right after that, Teddy Bridgewater throws a interception on the following play, on the following drive. I forgot which. I don't know. They was like, yeah. So maybe they ran about one or two plays or something like that, and then he throws an interception, and that didn't help either. So that really blew the game wide open. And then Teddy Bridgewater eventually ended up got sacked by JPP, and he was out the game. And so their backup came in, and nothing happened after that. That was pretty much it. Um, I just wish Roddy had got some points, got open a little more. The game was competitive up until then. Till those sequences of plays took place, three of them, three major ones, with the run, the interception, and then Bridgewater getting hurt. Hopefully he's all right. Uh, he just got hit from behind, so behind the knees. Uh, Surprised they didn't call a flag on that myself. So that kind of messed me up with those two players, and then like I said, Breeze ended up getting hurt. Was not feeling well because of the ribs or whatnot. Um, 49ers kept that game pretty tight. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but then eventually the better team started pulling with some turnovers and stuff like that by the 49ers, interceptions. Uh, that kind of put the 49ers at a disadvantage because it was a very slim margin of error for them uh, to stay in the game, with too many turnovers that they had. Just one too many for Mullins. Um, So I mean, it wasn't nothing really exciting about that game, other than the fact that you know, one thing I do like about the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, um, man, that's the stuff that I want to see. That the running that their running scheme, that their running game it's scheme for the running backs. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it seemed like their running backs always gain yardage, man. With those inside zone runs and stuff like that. And then I know he played about four different backs, man, and they was all getting like a lot of plus yardage, 10 plus yardage and stuff like that. Uh, because I didn't even see Moster. Moster, I didn't see him at all unless he's hurt. McKinnon, I don't know if he ran. I didn't see any plays of him either. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but yet, some of those guys, I saw some guys that I didn't even know that it was a running back by committee. Those guys, they always get the running game always get off, and that's something that I need to see out of my Cowboys. I need to see more creativity in the running game. I'm serious. I want to see creativity like that. I want to see creativity like LA Rams. You know what I'm saying? I want to see creativity like you saw the Seahawks in the LA Rams game. And speaking of the Seahawks and LA Rams game, Seahawks, man, even though the running game wasn't as explosive, but they did run some plays. You know what I'm saying? Uh, they didn't get a lot of yardage, but that was another team that kind of ran by running back by committee because it was a rookie in there, uh, Alex Collins. Um, he was out of the NFL, but now he's back. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I didn't even see uh, what's their normal guy. I can't even think of their running back name right now that they normally feature. Um, if he was in the game, it wasn't much. He only got a few touches, and I'm saying this because I have something to talk about this whole running game situation because I'm seeing it a lot. I'm seeing it a lot in something like that versus fantasy football. Okay, um, Seattle, Russ is throwing way too many picks. They really need a running game. They really need a strong running game, and they're not getting that. And that Russ is just throwing way too many picks at the wrong time. That's going to cost them the game because they could have took the lead um, after a turnover by the Rams. I think it was a fumble. Yeah, I think it was a fumble, and then Russ turned around and threw an interception. And I'm like, y'all could have tied the game right there. Y'all could have tied the game, and you throw this interception. Then he turned around and throws another one later in the game, in the end zone. As a matter of fact, I think both of them were in the zone. If I'm not mistaken. Um, so their defense could not stop the Rams. They could not stop the play action because the Rams, the running game was going, and they was just running everything off of play action, finding he was just finding guys wide open. Everett, Woods, Cooper Rush. Um, it's another rookie tight end they got. I forgot his name. Um, the ball was just distributed around to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it was a tight game up until Seattle started having these turnover issues and stuff like that. They kind of staled out, second half and stuff like that in the middle of the third and fourth, and they could just not put points on the board, man. They moved the ball, but the LA Rams stiffened up as they got closer to the end zone, and who knows? I don't know what's going on with Seattle, but they might be a playoff team. They might not. The way they keep playing, they just lost 3 games in a row. You hear me? They just lost 3 games in a row. So they definitely in need of a bye to try to adjust, try to get some of these things, these little kinks um, worked out. Whether regarding the run game or Russ cutting down somehow on his uh, his turnover, especially interceptions, because one of those interceptions, I think it was the second one, where he was about to run, but then he kind of pulled it down and threw into the end zone. It's like, yo, why didn't you just keep the why you should have just ran the damn ball. I mean, I understand pass first, you're a pass first type quarterback, but throwing that far in distance into the end zone where you have the safety or corner shading uh, the player you're throwing to, that was an easy interception. You pretty much gave that away. That was like a punt return or a touchback or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what Russ is doing. He's just, like they say, he's doing too much. He's doing too much. They're asking him to do too much. Sounds like Dak Prescott. They asked Dak to do too much, and that's the problem with Seattle Seahawks. As you let you know the mainstream media talking heads uh, say that he's doing too much and he's costing them the game. I'll say that he's really costing them the game. The run game is suffering, and so that's forcing him to do too much. So offensive line needs to touch up a little bit too to protect them more. I mean, but he had plenty of time to get rid of balls and stuff like that. But LA Rams secondary was really covering on some plays. Okay, boom. One of the most exciting game in Week 10 was the Buffalo Bills versus the Cardinals. Oh my gosh, that was the game. Did you see how that game ended with D Hop catching the walk-off touchdown and a bomb through by Kyler Murray? It kind of reminded me of the uh, the Green Bay Packers and the Cardinals game a few years ago. I think it was the playoffs, and you remember Rodgers kept throwing them Hail Marys uh, into the end zone. I think he did it twice, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what it was. That's what it kind of reminded me of. But I just knew that the Buffalo Bills had that game in hand because for real, Buffalo dominated that game. But I gotta give it to the Cardinals that they fought their way back into the game. You know, uh, some turnovers kind of hindered that, and some stale drives by the Buffalo Bills kept the Cardinals in the game, where they couldn't sustain a drive, and Cardinals just hanged in there. They hung in there. They fought. They grinded it out, and Murray was spectacular with some runs, but I could say, but for the most part, it looked like Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills were dominating the game for the most part, but they wasn't dominant enough because they didn't put the team away when they should have, and that's the next phase, the next level for the Buffalo Bills if they want to be respected as a dominant team and taking over the AFC East because they got a team that's right up in their ass, and I'm gonna talk about them next. But that game, Diggs had a good game. You know what I'm saying? Beasley had a good game. Josh Allen was running like crazy, uh, making some crazy throws. You know what I'm saying? I think he did have maybe one or two interceptions. But Murray was the real reason why with his runs to the end zone. I think he got to the end zone twice off of run plays, stuff like that. Uh, those guys, man, yeah, Cardinals. Cardinals getting better. They got some scrappiness to them too. I'm liking the Cardinals, right? Liking the Cardinals. I'm liking the Bills too, but the Bills they still got to learn how to close out games. They got to learn how to finish drives when they are up uh, by uh, by 10 points or more to really uh, put a team out of their misery and not let them hang around. Because if they had just gotten into field goal range, possibly they might have. And I think they, I don't know. I had to go back and watch. I had to go back. But anyway, the Cardinals, yeah, the Cardinals hang around, and then in desperation, Colin Murray rolls out of the pocket, finds some time, throws it down. This is about 40 yards out or whatnot, about 45 yards out. Throws it down to the end zone, and D Hop catches it, walks off, and they did that in with under a minute left, under a minute left in the game. I think it was like 39 seconds or something like that, and they got it down to their 45, and that's when he threw the Hail Mary to D Hop, and that game was tremendous. That was unbelievable. And we saw a couple games like that a couple weeks ago. Like every game, the game came down to the final seconds uh, in the fourth quarter. You know, Miami. Y'all heard me talk about Miami before. That Miami is ahead of schedule. Miami is ahead of schedule, and that defense is something to be reckoned with. While they're bringing Tua along, he's doing just enough to not make them lose the game. But that defense is the reason why they're winning games. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they have a spectacular running back. You know what I'm saying? Balaj or Balaja or whatever his name is. And then I think they got OJ Howard too. So, you don't know who's going to be running the ball for the most part. But that defense and the coaching, the scheme that they run offensively always puts them and with a quarterback that's still learning the position, filling his role, with his potential to be to potentially be great. His accuracy, for one thing, that's what Tua does have, and that offensive line keeping him upright for the most part. Bro, they are blowing they're blowing teams out. That defense is stifling. The special teams getting blocks and stuff like that. I had that team. I had them winning anyway, because I didn't do any bets, but if I went to my sports book, and I would have had Miami on a parlay or something like that against the Chargers. So uh, they went in and they beat the Chargers. I know Herbert has been balling out, but it hasn't equated to a win. Okay, um, that was definitely a game that was I figured that I so it's not much to say about them other than the fact that they are on the Bills' ass, and the Bills think they're gonna run away with this AFC East. They better check again because they're gonna have to play Miami, and the way that defense is playing, and then you're letting Tua. Tua is 3-0 in his first three starts. Let him get some confidence. Let him really get the feel for the game. Let him get the feel for the playbook and stuff like that. Because he does have some receivers. He has a nice tight end. You know what I'm saying? But then he has a good head coach, and their staff is on point right now. Their players are on point right now. But AFC East is up for grabs. I just thought the Bills should know that. Um, I didn't see the Washington game versus the Detroit Lions, but when I saw the score, Detroit was way ahead. I didn't know that Washington came back and made it a competitive game. Um, it was 31-27, the finals. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. But how about the Giants beating the Eagles? And the Giants are getting better, and they could actually win the East. I hate to say that, but Cowboys, we got some work to do. Uh, as we see Donald Jones, I said Donald, Donald. Oh, the Jones kid for the quarterback for the Giants. He's running that ball, man, and he's showing more and more that speed he has. And Danny Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, that's his name. That team plays hard defensively. They don't have superstars, but they're playing. The run game all of a sudden has picked up. And what the Garrett? Where was those running play? Where were those running designs with the Cowboys? But see that's funny because that to me, now this is my opinion and my thoughts, is that you took your job for granted and now you wised up and you're taking Gallman and whoever else is going to run behind that offensive line, and now those guys are looking like some solid backs, which they are. Okay, they some solid backs, but you're scheming. But you're scheming as well. You're scheming these guys open. You scheming open running lanes and stuff like that. Not with no trick plays, but those guys are running. Why wasn't we seeing that last year? Why wasn't we seeing those kind of runs last year? But anyway, I digress. Um, Success to the Giants beating the Eagles because we needed them to win. But at the same time, they are becoming a threat. They're getting better. They're looking on the up right now. I have nothing to say about Philly other than the fact that they lost. and they needed to lose. And now that keeps us in the fold of pulling off the East. Now we have to see what we're gonna do as far as dealing with this COVID on the players, practice time, and getting these guys ready for Minnesota. That's a game that I have to watch as well. I'm just gonna watch the highlights. I might get a chance to see it. I'm not quite sure. But was it Minnesota versus Chicago? Chicago is disappointing that they can't even that offense is stale. They need a damn running back. One thing you should have let OJ Howard. Um, yeah, they need a running game because obviously Nick Foles can't get it done. Seems like Trubisky can't get it done. I think Trubisky's hurt. You know what I'm saying? So they're stuck with Nick Foles. But we all know that Nick Foles is gonna run his course. He's only good spurts. You know what I'm saying? But he got paid. So nothing I can say with that. But that defense ain't doing no better with Khalil, and then you got Robert Quinn as well. Have a good secondary. So it doesn't matter how good of defensive players you have, and they do have a dominant defense, but only when they're rested. When they're on the field too much, no defense stands a chance. They all fall apart. Okay, when there's not a balance, if there's not a balance with Chicago. Well, other games. Um, I know I'm kind of forgetting the game right now. I'm tired. So I'm going to end it like that. I just wanted to just talk. I just wanted to talk to you guys for a little. Um, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Y'all have a good night. Week 10 is exciting. Cowboys on the bye. Cowboys, let's get it. Let's get it going. Um, let's get it going. Let's not lose momentum. Matter of fact, like I said earlier in my last video, let's dig in during this bye and all next week so we can pull out. We need to pull out one of these games that's not in the division. We need to pull off one of these. Minnesota is right. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be easy, but they're for the taking. Put it like that. And if we can really pull off Baltimore, we can pull out two of these road wins. You know what I'm saying? Outside of our division, that'd be nice. That'll be a confidence booster. But right now, let's dig in. Let's dig in on this scheme more and keep this momentum. Let's ride this wave of continuity and let's let it turn into a win. That's all I want y'all to do. Peace. I'm out.